Walk with me.
Sing aloud unto God our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a salute for Israel, and a law of the God of Jacob. He ordained in Joseph for a testimony. Then he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed the shoulder from the burden. His hands were delivered from the pots. Thou callest in trouble. I delivered thee, I answered thee in the secret place of thunder. I proved thee at the waters of Meribah, said I. Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me, there shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange God. I am thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. So I gave them up to their own hearts, lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of the I Am should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever. He should have fed them also with the finest of wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied thee. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. A prayer of Abraham. And we thus read from Psalms chapter 81. And we want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this platform and shared platforms. We thank God for you. I'm Mr. Clay, and walking with Mr. Clay. Yes, this is what we're doing. We're in Jasher Chapter 64 as you prepare, Jasher Chapter 64, starting with verse 1. But we get to the point where we just left off one thing where Zepho he called on the Most High to save him from his enemies, which was the king of Africa, so they say. And they smote them, and they did what they should. But there's going to be a flip to what Zepho did. See, just as was in the while he was in the loins of his father, he took it on the way of his father. In chapter 64. But before that, yes, with a hand clap of praise, we want to thank God for those of you that have been with us from the beginning and those of you that have come thereafter and here and there's about. And we thank the Most High for those of you who have subscribed or just subscribed. And we thank God for those of you who are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes. And we thank and praise the Most High for all his mercy. Yes. You know, one thing it's about, I hear people on social media, they talk just like they talk to their children or their family. In other words, you have no background as to what you're thinking or saying. A thought comes to your mind, a thought comes to your head, and you wonder, whether it's scientific or religious or maybe historical. See, we have to really investigate. A thought doesn't come to our head by chance. A thought comes to our head that we might investigate that thought, that we might understand that thought. I mean, we're saying things as to the origin of man, even to nuclear fission. If you don't understand it, do not form an opinion of it, because your opinion has no basis to where it is even valid. And I see people, and you wonder where we get wives' tale. That's why they call them wives' tale, because it comes from, many wives' tale come from women. Wives' tale. It's nothing against women, but apparently this is where Satan has really come to that point. If you ever think about the formula that this Satan, this fallen entity, we know his name from the book of Enoch. His name is, you get the book of Enoch and you study it and you write it. And you can go through my archives and you'll find out also who the name of this entity was that tempted Eve in the garden. It wasn't the temptation of Eve that was so important, according to that narrative. But it was Adam. Adam was the one who was really the test, and his weakness for Eve, he failed. It wasn't the fruit of the tree that was really of any significance to God, but it was the actual obedience and believing God and not being swayed by the things you think, but just doing that thing which is right before the Most High. I can say men go through the same thing, we do the same thing, but the fact is we listen to women that sit up there in their own imaginations and think about things that really are irrelevant to the life and come up with some type of crazy thought. I don't care if you get mad or whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care how many crazy thoughts you think, even you men. Investigate it, because I'm going to tell you one thing. It comes from those Satans. He wants to poison the mind of others through you. This is what he does. This is how a lot of societies and nations turn to idolatry. This is how the women in the Bible have turned to the queen of heaven in order to think they are more than men. See, you have to really sum it up. What have women done so much that men have not done or taught them? Men taught you how to cook. They taught you how to clean. They even delivered the children that you had. Tell you the truth. From the start. You didn't just deliver it by yourself. And there were angels that were there also that helped deliver those children. So, I don't get it. You won't investigate, but you will go along with your thoughts instead of investigating and find receipts on what you're saying. Now, there's some women that are good at finding receipts on what their thoughts are telling them. Or either they just ditch the thought when they cannot find anything to back that irrational thought. The same thing with men. You have to do these things. Men most so will try to find the facts before they talk. But women even more so will just go along with a thought with no foundation to that thought or no receipts to that thought. I digress. But either way, we're in the 64th chapter of Jasher. Jasher chapter 64 and verse 1. And Balaam, son of Beor. Now this is also found in Deuteronomy. I can't give you the exact, but it's in the book of Deuteronomy. Did this Balaam, son of Beor, live? And this is like a copy in a way, because you're talking about now we only get into the 200th year, well, into the 100th year of Israel being into Egypt. So this man must have lived 500-600 years or something. We don't know, but he was wicked. Or either this is copying from the Old Testament in the 66 books, or this could be copying from, should I say, they could be copying from here, the Greeks. We shall see. But either way, verse 1. And Balaam, son of Beor, was at the time with Angeas in battle. And when he saw that Zepho, which was the son of Esau, prevailed over Angius, we'll say Angius, yes. And he fell from there and came to Chittim. And Zepho and the children of Chittim received him with a great honor. For Zepho knew Balaam's wisdom. In other words, Balaam was a soothsayer. He was a warlock, or whatever you want to call it. And Zepho gave unto Balaam many gifts, and he remained with him. And when Zepho had returned from war, he commanded all the children of Chittim to be numbered, who had gone into battle with him. And behold, not one was missed. Okay, because God was with him. God delivered him at that time. Excuse me. And Zepho rejoiced at this thing, and he renewed his kingdom, and he made a feast to all his subjects. And Zepho remembered not the I am, and considered not. Now this is a grave mistake. And this is the same thing that happens throughout history. God delivers us and we forget all about it. Some of us don't even acknowledge, even in our deliverance, that God has done such a thing. This is what we call mercy. God had mercy because he invoked the name of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. He invoked these names, not that they were any type of intercessor, but because he knew, he acknowledged God, that he was the God of these men, or these three kings. And Zepho remembered not the I am, considered not that the I am had helped him in battle, and that he had delivered him and his people from the hand of the king of Africa. Isn't it the way we do fathers? Our fathers can work hard. They can do all kind of things. I mean, and bless us. But many of us men, until we get into that, not all of us, mind you, many of us, when we get to the point where we become men, we forget about dad. What did dad do for me? We forget about honoring our father, but yet we go to the mother and we believe everything the mother says. And when we get older, we do not prove those things that were said by our mothers about our fathers. You got to prove these things. See, this is the way people do. They get to the earth, and the earth gives them riches, and the earth, they get all kind of things from the earth, but they forget about God, the same one who created the earth, whom we call the Father. And that the I am helped him in battle, and that he had delivered him from his people from the hand of the king of Africa, or a country, not the continent, but still walked in the ways of the children of Chittim and the wicked children of Esau. He is an Edomite. To serve other gods which his brethren, the children of Esau, had taught him. In other words, you have to realize Esau was rebellious. He was one who would gaslight his own family, his mother and father, right in front of their face when they knew he was lying. And he also hated the gift that God gave him, was rich, the gift of the firstborn, which he sold for nothing because he was leery from battle and hunting and all these other things. And he just, what does this mean to me? Nothing. It is therefore said, there's a saying you should write down: from wickedness goes forth wickedness. From the wicked goes forth wickedness. From the wicked goes forth wickedness. Jubilees chapter 5, chapter 64 and verse 5. And Zepho reigned over all the children of Chittim securely, and knew not the I am who had delivered him and all his people. Now this is by design, yes, by design of devils and all kind of things, that everything's established in the realm where which the Most High is before it reaches earth, because the battle is of the minds and hearts of men, even as Abram prayed in his prayer in Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, and the troops of Africa came no more into Chittim or Shittim plunder as usual, for they knew the power of Zepho, which Zepho had no power. That's the power of the Most High, who had smitten them all at the edge of the sword. So Angius was afraid of Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, and the children of Chittim all the days. And at that time, when Zepho had returned from war, and when Zepho had seen how he had prevailed over all the people of Africa, or that country, could have been what they call Cush, Ethiopia. I mean, it's just so many countries out there, but most of the countries were named after colonizers. And people have called their names after what colonizers have told them they were. So, and at that time, verse 7, when Zepho had returned from the war, and when Zepho had seen how he had prevailed over all the people of Africa, he smitten them in the battle at the edge of the sword. Then Zepho advised with the children of Chittim to go to Egypt to fight with the sons of Jacob, with Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And Zepho heard that the mighty men of Egypt were dead, and that Joseph, his brethren, the sons of Jacob, were dead. And all their children, the children of Israel, remained in Egypt. Oh, opportunity, he thinking. This is where Satan had really infiltrated his mind. Instead of he investigating, is God still with these people? He didn't do that. He didn't go on the facts of what's happening. In verse 9, and Zepho considered to go to fight against them in all Egypt, and to avenge the cause of his brethren, the children of Esau. You have to realize, just because we say Esau, that means that these people have in their heart an hatred, period. Some of them don't know where it comes from, but there's an hatred in the heart of the children of Esau, even the Edomite, whom Joseph with his brother and all Egypt had smitten in the land of Canaan, when they went up to bury Jacob in Hebron. And Zepho sent messengers to Hadad, son of Bedad, king of Edom, and to all his brethren, the children of Esau, saying, Did you not say that you would not fight against the king of Africa, for he is a member of your covenant? Behold, I fought with him and smote him and all his people, but he did not acknowledge the Most High, who have given him the victory over these people from that land. Now, therefore, I have resolved to fight against Egypt and the children of Jacob who are there, and I will be revenged of them for what Joseph, his brethren and ancestors, did to us in the land of Canaan, when they went up to bury their fathers in Hebron. And now, then, if you are willing to come to me to assist me in fighting against them in Egypt, then shall we avenge the cause of our brethren? And the children of Esau hearkened to the words of Zepho, and the children of Esau gathered themselves together, a very great people, and they went to assist Zepho and the children of Chittim in battle. And Zepho sent to all the children of the east and to the children of Ishmael, and with words like these, and they gathered themselves and came to the assistance of Zepho and the children of Chittim in the war upon Egypt. And all these kings, the king of Edom and the children of the east, and all the children of Ishmael, and Zepho the king of Chittim, went forth and arrayed all their host in Hebron. And the camp was very heavy, extending in a length distance of 3 days' journey, a people numerous as the sand upon the sea shore, which cannot be counted. Wow. That's a lot. It's like watching Lord of the Rings in the last episode. And you see the people out from the castle, and you see numerous hordes of enemies out there. And all these kings and their hosts went down and came against all Egypt in battle, and encamped together in the valley of Pathros. And all Egypt in their report, and they also gathered themselves together, all the people of the land of Egypt, and all the cities belonging to Egypt, were about 300,000 men. And the men of Egypt sent also to the children of Israel, who were in those days in the land of Goshen, to come to them in order to fight with these kings. And the men of Israel assembled, and were about 150 men. Just 150? And when they went into battle to assist the Egyptians, and the men of Israel and of Egypt went forth, about 300,000 men and 150 men, and they went toward these kings to battle. And they placed themselves from without of the land of Goshen opposite Pathros. And the Egyptians believed not in Israel to go with them in their camps together for battle. And all the Egyptians said, perhaps the children of Israel will deliver us into the hand of the children of Esau and Ishmael, for they are their brethren. And all of the Egyptians said unto the children of Israel, remain you here together in your stand, and we will go and fight against the children of Esau and Ishmael. I see here he got two of his own relatives coming at him. And if these kings should prevail over us, then come you to all together upon them and assist us. And the children of Israel did so. It don't bother me. You do what you want to do. We know our God for right now. And Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, king of Chittim, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, king of Edom, of all their camps. You notice they don't have any last names. They all define themselves by their fathers. See, now this is where you have the matriarchy. See, the matriarchy is coming up. This is a demon, or a few hordes of devils who have come to infiltrate mankind with not only woman worship, but also all manner of evil, even men walking out of their own gender, because these devils have given them something that they think is very, should I say, valid, or they think they have proof. But basically, if you investigate the matriarchy doctrine, it comes from Egypt. Yes, it does. But it was been also pushed over into Greeks and then Rome and all these where they worship the woman. But common sense, without even having any facts or something fiction, we know these things are blatant out, all out lie because of the jealousy of the woman and because of the ways of Satan. There are women that are very jealous of men, or they're very bitter against men. And they want to make every woman in the world this way if they could. And if they can sway the men to say, you will serve us. Even the Bible, even he talks about in book, I believe the book of Isaiah. I'm not too versed on memorizing some scripture. But anyway, he says that in that thing, he was talking about the leadership, how that women lead you and children oppress you. Yes, it was as if the leadership. And we see that leadership today. Most men don't walk by their feelings. We walk by what we know is true. We walk by the facts or what we know that is logical in a way that it is provable in the same thing. But some walk by their feelings, and feelings can also wreck you. Many marriages have been wrecked by feelings. I feel. You don't know. And verse 24. And all the Egyptians said unto the children of Israel, remain you here. Okay, we're going to 25. And Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, son of Esau, king of Chittim, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, the king of Edom, and all their camps, and all the children of the east, and the children of Ishmael, a people numerous as the sand, encamped together in the valley of Pathros, opposite Tachpanchius. That's Panchius, yes. And Balaam, the son of Beor, and Beor, the Syrian. Now that's on the other side of the Euphrates. Syria is on the other side of Euphrates. Okay? Now, this is before it was taken over by a lighter hue of people. Now, there was in the camp of Zepho, for he came with the children of Chittim to the battle. And Balaam was a man highly honored in the eyes of Zepho and his men. And Zepho said unto Balaam, try by divination for us, that we may know who will prevail in the battle, we or the Egyptians. Where they said, we're going to use divination. We're going to call someone to conjure up some spirits to tell us what's going to happen. So, God had to be, these evil spirits have no reason but to, they are spirits unto dishonor, but they have to obey God because you cannot resist God, whether you're spirit or not. Even the Satans, they have to obey the Most High because although they rebelled by a thought. This is their rebellion. So God said, well, I'm going to use them. I'm just paraphrasing. This is not what God said. But apparently it appears that God using them to test the children of men, to see whether you're worthy to be with him in the end, to see whether you're worthy to love him eternally, to see whether you're worthy to try to understand and know who the Most High is without your own reasoning or the reasoning that surrounds you. This is what God wants for a people that will be redeemed. And there are only very few that would do this. If God killed a kid and wiped out a whole bunch of children, they wouldn't think nothing of it, because once a child reaches the age where they understand right from wrong and they understand rules, and inherently most children know that they should not be disrespectful toward their elder, just as these children that we see that was ripped up by a bear. And the bear tore them up. She was robbed of her cubs, and she tore these children up because they looked at the prophet and said, "Oh, thou bald-headed man, thou bald-headed man." God did this. See, I don't care what age a child is, even a baby. God looks at you differently than you look at God. You don't understand this. Come on now. You don't understand it. You don't hear it. You don't want to hear it. I use the most precious thing in your life to show you how God can be evil to the evil. Your child can be evil, and you not know it. And you wonder why some even come up against him, whether he's slain in the street or slain even with the colonizer that goes and tries to enforce his laws. He gets in his feelings and everything. But let us continue. In 27, and Zephan said to Balaam, he said, he asked him, can we go up and fight the Egyptians? And Balaam rose up and tried the art of divination. See, your magic is not going to work with God. And he was skillful in the knowledge of it, but he was confused, and the work was destroyed in his hand. And he tried it again, but it did not succeed. And Balaam despaired of it and left it and did not complete it. For this was from the I Am, in order to cause Zephan and his people to fall into the hand of the children of Israel. And he had trusted in the I Am, the God of their ancestors, in the war. Now see, this is a conditioning. We go through a conditioning phase. This is a conditioning of the children of Israel. See, although God will protect them here in the land of Israel, still he would allow the Egyptians, or should I say Egypt, he would allow the Egyptians to enslave them and treat them harshly. Not as harshly as America. That's even harsher. Now, Zepho had Hadad put their forces in battle array, and all the Egyptians went alone against them, about 300,000 men. And not one man of Israel was with them. And all the Egyptians fought these kings opposite Pathros and Tapanchius, and the battle was severe against the Egyptians. And the kings were stronger than the Egyptians in the battle, and about 180 men of the Egyptians fell on that day, and about 30 men of the forces of the kings, and all the men of Egypt fled from before the king. So the children of Esau and Ishmael pursued the Egyptians, continuing to smite them unto the place where was the camp of the children of Israel. You got something coming here, buddy. And all the Egyptians cried unto the children of Israel, saying, hasten to us and assist us, save us from the hand of Esau and Ishmael and the children of Chittim. And the 150 men, mind you, you feminists, where was the women? Not only even in Egypt, where was the women? Even in, we can go back to Africa. We can go back to the women the women that you say, what do you call it, woman king? Who had to really won the war? Was it the women or was it the men? The women were slaughtered by the thousands, but the men overcame them. Who are you talking about? All this other stuff. I'm not trying to preach this male dominance thing, but the fact is, everybody should know their place. Period. In creation and as well in the order of the family. Woman, don't let these women fool you into being cursed by God because of their bitterness against some man that have misused her or abused her in her own estimation, or maybe he just did. Maybe it was by God that he did these things because of her rebelliousness. And all the Egyptians cried unto the children of Israel and said, save us from the hand of Esau, Ishmael, and the children of Chittim. And the 150 men of the children of Israel ran from their stations to the camp of these kings. And the children of Israel cried unto the I Am and their God to deliver them. And the I Am hearkened unto Israel. And the I Am gave all the men of the kings to their hand. And the children of Israel fought against these kings. This is like Samson power now. And the children of Israel smote all 4,000 of the king's men. And the I Am threw a great consternation in the camp of the kings, so that the fear of the children of Israel fell upon them. And all the host of the kings fled from before the children of Israel. And the children of Israel pursued them, continuing to smite them unto the borders of the land of Cush. So we know that the king of Africa is not the king of Cush, the land of Cush. Okay, that's good. Okay, he's not king of Cush, is what they call Ethiopia right now. So who is the king of Africa? Where did they get this from? Now, and the children of Israel slew of them in the road yet 2,000 men. And the children of Israel, not one fell. God did not allow one to perish. And when the Egyptians saw the children of Israel had fought with such few men with the kings, that the battle was so very severe against them. And this is that small stone. Oh, you got vast numbers of armament and military might, and I mean all kind of tanks and nuclear bombs, but you will not defeat. I'll talk to this whether your government hears me or not. You will not defeat the children that are hewn out of that strong mountain that will grind your regimes and all your lands and your military might to dust. Because when God is with you, it's better than a whole world against you. This is true. And all the Egyptians were greatly afraid of their lives on account of the strong battle, and all Egypt fled, and every man hiding himself from the array of forces, and they hid themselves in the road, and they left the Israelites to fight. I mean, yeah, you call us cowards. God got a way of conditioning his people. And the children of Israel inflicted a terrible blow upon the king's men, and they returned from them after they had driven them to the border of the land of Cush, which is Ethiopia. And all Israel knew the thing which the men of Egypt had done to them, and they had fled from them in battle and had left them to fight alone. So the children of Israel acted with cunning. As the children of Israel returned from battle, they found some of the Egyptians in the road and smote them there. And while as they slew them, see, they had not lost their valor because the patriarchs died. No. This thing they were still valiant men. And while they slew them, and said unto them these words, wherefore did you go from us and leave us, being few people, to fight against these kings who had great people to smite us, that you might therefore deliver your own souls? And some of them which the Israelite met on the road, the children of Israel spoke to each other, saying, smite, for he is an Ishmaelite, for an Edomite, or from the children of Chittim. And they stood over him and slew him. They were just carrying out God's will. That's all. God strengthened them to carry his will out. And they knew that he was an Egyptian. And the children of Israel did these things cunningly against the Egyptians because they had deserted them in battle and had fled from them. And the children of Israel slew the men of Egypt in the road in this manner. See, Israel was not a land then. They were really considered those of Egypt. Many were born in Egypt, and they considered Egypt. The land by which you were born is what you were called, even in this day. So that's why I say that tribalism is not too bad. It's not bad at all. You can say, I come from the land of this and that, but the fact is, who's your father? Your mother can't deliver you. Many women will flee from the sight of blood and war because it's nasty. Plus, she would be overtaken and made something that she don't want to be. And the children of Israel slew the men of Egypt in the road in this manner, about 200 men. And all the men of Egypt saw the evil which the children of Israel had done to them, and all Egypt feared greatly the children of Israel, for they had seen their great power, and that not one man of them had fallen. And all the children of Israel returned with joy on their road to Goshen, and the rest of Egypt returned each man to his place. Now this is where the fear came, where they were actually turned to servitude. See, God wanted the Egyptians to do something to his people, to train them. But either way, we're going to take this up later. We're going to talk about it. Walk with me again in our next chapter. And for now, we're going to say peace.
Walk with me.